Today's video is a time management video for student athletes. This was requested by a YouTube viewer subscriber called Justin. He is starting high school soon. He is a basketball player, but he also wants to get good grades for his parents. How do you juggle that? How do you manage time? How do you become prepared for the scary new world that is high school and how it's different from middle school? It can definitely be different. I'm not gonna lie. I remember the first time I entered high school, it just seemed so much bigger. The kids there seemed so much taller. It was also dimly lit, so it had that dark feel to it. Everyone seemed intimidating and cooler than me. I remember the first time I went, I think it was actually a couple weeks or months before, because I had to audition to get into the whatever band class I would fit into. And so I went there to audition, saw the first thing, still remember it, and it can be very intimidating. But you're asking about time management. Now, Justin, I've linked a time management video for you, but if you check out my YouTube channel, I have playlists, even a productivity playlist, a time management playlist with dozens of videos that you can check out for more detail. But specifically, just to kind of over deliver, I decided to create a fresh video for you on your specific issue, which is time management for athletes in high school. Now, I think some of the principles remain the same. Of course, it's definitely different when you have a sport. I ran track and field and cross country, and then I also I did do some tryouts for other sports as well, and it's a different thing because after school you have practice and that eats up your time, and it's seasonal. So some seasons you have more time because that sport isn't really practicing or playing that season. So I'll tell you this, is it possible to get good grades while still being a student and athlete? Yes. Could some argue it's harder? Arguably, yes, because you have less time. After school, or sometimes before school, you have practice, and then you get home much later than other people. Whereas other students, they'll get home at 2 p.m., 1 p.m. Sometimes if you're a senior and you have less classes, or you have certain classes that let you out early, that's a huge discrepancy sometimes. I will say, for me at least, and of course practices vary. When I was running and doing my track and field practice, I would say I still got home, at a reasonable hour. We're talking maybe 3-4 p.m. And the thing is, while yes, you do have some time cut out, you have to keep in mind everyone has 24 hours in a day, and usually you can get it done in that time. You can focus on the drawbacks, but you can also focus on the positives. And here's the thing. Even when I got back at 4, and then I had to eat dinner, and I had to practice piano, and I had to study for the SATs, that would take me until 7 p.m. if I was diligent, which gave me 4 or 5 more hours to get the work done. Sometimes I wasn't so diligent, and it took me longer to get started because I would procrastinate, and that would take me to 8 or 9. And then still I had a good 2, 3, 4 hours to get my work done. And some days, depending on the day or the week, homework assignments, studying wasn't really always as intense, so there was fluctuations there. So sometimes I would finish in an hour, half an hour. Sometimes it would take me the whole 2 hours. It also depends on your level of coursework here. Are you taking advanced placement classes, or are you taking the regular level classes, or the honors level in between, or something along those lines? Usually the higher up you go, the more assignments, reading, and rigorous the standards are in the competition. So you do have that lever to play with in terms of, because you usually have a choice on where you want to place yourself on that. Obviously, sometimes it also needs a teacher recommendation, but there's some level of choice in there. There's been times where I decided, hey, I'm going with the lower level one, the honors one, because I know I can't juggle the coursework. I've done the flip side and have gone choosing the higher intense one. And sometimes that doesn't work out because when you look at why you're doing this, you usually want those good GPAs, not just to please your parents, but the whole construct of that is to get into a good college. And colleges usually look for unweighted GPA first. So if you have to choose, you always want to go for highest grade possible unweighted. And if that means going to a lower level class, that beats, getting a fail or a D in a advanced placement class. If you can get a B or even an A in that regular class. So with that all being said, you have that one lever to use it. If things are not working out, don't freak out. You can always transfer. I saw a lot of people transfer shift classes in the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or even in the next quarter or halfway through the year. There's time to kind of reassess and gauge if things are really too much. I think the bigger issue is about joy and energy levels. For me, I found that I enjoyed my sport enough that if anything, it gave me more energy. Exercise actually does help you. It gives you more energy, health, and mental energy, not just physical. So that, you can come back pretty darn refreshed when you come back from practice. And so that may actually be an investment rather than a drain on you, especially with the right perspective. So it's ultimately down to numbers, addition, subtraction. You have 24 hours in a day, X amount of hours go to school, X amount go to practice, X amount may go to other requirements, errands, dinner. And then you have a portion left for personal life and a portion left for homework, studying, and so forth. And so usually I would venture to say that unless you have some obnoxiously difficult high-level classes, you probably still have enough time to study, do your homework, and even maybe some time, maybe not as much as you want, but maybe some time, even on the weekdays, for personal time. And so for me, I was able to still carve out on occasion, 1 or 2 hours for my own personal time on a weekdays. Weekends I had more, of course, to just play video games. I like to play Maple Story a lot, but it is possible. And so it really just comes down to assessing where you're at and then working through it. Now, when you dive into the micro, maybe the work actually would only take you, like for example, 1 hour to complete on average per day. And you have, let's say, 4 hours to complete it. Let's say you go to sleep at 11 p.m. or 12 p.m. and you're done everything you need to by 8 p.m. That's 4 hours to complete something, 1 hour to do it. But you're having trouble because you're procrastinating, you don't feel like it, you hate world history, you don't like writing essays. That's a more micro problem in the sense that you have the time. You have the time. It's going to take you 1 hour to complete it, you have 4. But something's just messing you up. You hate doing this, so you keep going on social media. That's likely more the issue. And that stems into other videos that I've talked about. Search them up on my channel, which goes into more of the micro technique. And I've talked about some techniques to fix this. One of them being the nibble technique, which is what I used in various fields of my life to start to build that snowball and momentum. Essentially, there was a time when I really didn't do math. And even though the homework assignments and the work only took me 20 minutes to do, I would just skip them every day. Of course, my math grades tanked. And I found after a long time of struggle, I switched everything up with the nibble technique, which really changed everything. I went from this terrible feeling where every day my math teacher would look at me disappointed when he was collecting homework assignments to one where I was delivering it each day and I was getting those points left and right. How did I start to do that? Well, I started with simple stuff and doing it as soon as possible. What I mean by that is, what if you just did 5 minutes of work? That's it. 5 minutes on your math homework assignment. If 5 minutes is too much, it depends on your unique situation. So some people, it has to be 2 minutes, or it's 1 minute. But whatever it is that fits your unique personality, you start with that small number. And for me, I think it was like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And I just got home. First thing I did when I got home, I didn't wait until the end of the night, because, the more you wait, the longer you just feel icky the whole night, and you might not even complete it. But if you do it at the start, you build some momentum, you feel good the rest of the day, and you also almost give yourself permission to move on. So 5 minutes, do what you can with that assignment, and then put it down. And then you can go from there. And what I usually find is that at that point, I might be like, wow, that wasn't too bad. I might give myself a 10-minute break, and then I end up coming back to it, finishing it in another 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and then I'm done, and I feel good for the rest of the day for completing that part. See, this is a skill, it's a muscle you have to build up. I didn't immediately jump to 2 or 3 hours of homework and studying. That was a gradual process, and it started with math. I knew that I was at ground zero with math, doing none of the homework or studying. And through that nibble technique, the next step in it is to start to gradually build. So once you get that 5 minutes in, you start to build off of that. Now you're starting to make progress on homework assignments. And then you start making more progress because you put more time in. And then soon enough, I started and ended with 10 minutes, and then 15, and I was completing the whole thing, and then that was good. And then I started, okay, I got that 15 minutes a day on lock. Let me add in some studying and reviewing of the principles that they taught me in school. So all of a sudden, I added in an extra 5 minutes onto that, on just studying and reviewing the principles. And over time, you gradually build that muscle and skill set. And with the right feelings, motivation, perspective, you gain energy. You feel pride each time you complete that assignment. And that's all there is to it. Obviously, there's other techniques and principles. Check out the other videos for that. I really, truly believe that hanging around people who do well in school will rub off on you in magical ways. So that's another big one. But hopefully that helped. Thanks for the question, Philip. And leave a like, subscribe, comment. If anyone has any more tips below as a student athlete or someone who's good at productivity, please help out our community. Leave some tips in the comments for our fellow people, or just any other positive vibes or experiences. I think that'll help out our community and grow it. Good luck to you.